Houston, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem.
Is this working?
Yeah, I think so. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Whoa.
Yeah. All right. Well, Lockpod, we had a lot of stress this morning showing up to the studio, but season 6, episode 9 is off and running. By the way,
Father, you showed up like 5 minutes before 7:30, and then was stressed for about 20 minutes. John's been stressed for like an hour and a half.
right?
I don't get stressed. I'm on Quaaludes.
Okay, check out. I'm gonna point something out. Lockpod people,
Say it real quick.
what's the date today?
Friday the 13th.
Oh,
Whoa.
It's true.
Don't point it out.
Today is Friday the 13th, and we walk into the studios, and
Whoa.
John's stuff is all fucked up. Let's just be honest.
It's not
right?
John's stuff.
It's
It's
John's
Kevin's internet.
It's John's stuff, right?
It's Kevin's
we-
internet.
I agree with that, but I also think it's coincidence that the caboose isn't here,
Right.
and you've got some really good fill-ins, and all of a
We do
sudden
have some really good
Suspicious.
fill-ins.
the internet's down.
Well, I
So
think
you're
Kevin
saying
Sus.
so? It's Kevin.
sabotage.
Kevin sabotaged it before he left.
Sabotage.
Okay, so I'm not going to blame John anymore.
It might be. They might be both of them.
This is
No,
clearly
it's
Kevin's
Kevin 100%.
fault. Okay. All right. Sorry, John. I apologize. I take back Tom's middle finger to you, John.
Let's put it this way: if
Were you were about to blame me for this?
No,
Are
I
you
wasn't
fucking
blaming
kidding
you.
me?
I wasn't blaming you, John. I mean, blame
I got
is
your
a
back,
tough
John.
word.
Don't worry. Don't
I was
worry.
just wondering
I
if
got
you were as diligent as you should have been.
if you were the caboose, would you want to lose that role?
I mean, let's be honest. This is a great show.
Yes.
So Kevin is definitely in fear.
Oh man,
So Phil, you're saying this is Kevin's fault?
for sure, 100%.
100%.
Kevin set this up. I don't know
Kevin
what he's
pays
doing.
the bills here.
If you were Kevin, would you be worried about not being able to control the terrible things that are going to be said today?
Yeah, it's a great
I agree.
point.
All right. I
Because you
apologize,
know he's
John.
listening now.
Yeah.
I apologize, John. He's definitely listening. I was calling him up about his horrible internet service in his office.
Kevin's
I woke him up.
nervous.
He's on West Coast time.
But
Yeah.
in all seriousness, I mean, those that are watching, if we do go down, just check it out later on Apple Pod or YouTube or whatever. So
It says Safari can't find the server on one of our screens that we normally.
there's still some
not good.
issues.
We normally could look at
problem.
the screen in studio. It said Safari can't find a server. So
Here, I'll show you this one.
we could go off at any time. So like, you should feel a sense of excitement out there in the audience. Also,
You never
for
know what's
sure.
going to
You
happen.
you could be like soaking up Lockpod like a normal Friday, and then all of a sudden, bam!
Yes.
It's over. It's just over. And you
Kevin's,
got nothing. You know.
maybe it's because Kevin's running everything through a Commodore 64. Maybe that's the problem.
It is a Commodore 64,
Yeah.
but it's got extra RAM built into
Yeah,
it.
he
so.
did the 1200, not the
Right.
whatever the other
Right.
one was.
But I'd like to introduce.
You guys are so old.
I'd like to introduce that. That was a good computer back in the day, Lindsay.
Back in the day,
Now it couldn't
before I
run.
was
Now
born.
it couldn't run your coffee maker. I'd like to introduce Phil Taillon, who's filling in the seat of Kevin Smith,
Gross.
and John Cantrell, attorney at law.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. That was
She
not
said
nice.
gross.
Oh God, there's no Lindsay cam. Look
It
at
takes
that.
two
Oh, wait,
people
you're-
to take the place of Kevin.
And then
Yeah.
John Cantrell, who's filling in also for Kevin. So we got filling in for the caboose. We have two able Lockpod veterans coming in the studio, and you guys are supposed to make some magic today because I'm not feeling on my A game. So you
Okay.
guys got to fill in a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
All right.
That's what teams do. You pick up where somebody's
right.
slacking. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Kevin's missing, and we fill in with two. That's a compliment to Kevin. He didn't have to sabotage the
But
show.
if you're going to be half-assing it, I get it.
I'm not half-assing it. I'm just saying I'm not feeling like. Sometimes you get. I wear this ring, John. It tells me when I'm up and down.
Yeah.
Said I'm having a down day.
I think you need to send out a memo to everybody you know and
Yeah.
like look at the
I had a
ring.
really low score today,
Yeah.
which means, and I look at it every day. So I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be a
How does
horrible day.
that? How does that scoring work? Like,
It's on your blood, and it's on like activity levels you've had, your heartbeat, and how
and
well
they're
you're
like,
rested.
today's gonna be a bad day.
They're like, it's gonna be. You're gonna have one of those down energy days.
I don't know.
So-
That sounds a little bit like horoscope reading, and
But you should be in
you're
a
just gonna base your whole life on like my ring told me I was gonna have a bad day, so I'm going to.
You should be in a fantastic mood if somebody told you or Phil came and said, "Hey, you know what? I had this dream last night that people were going to be openly protesting Todd Young's presence
Yeah.
in Northwest Indiana."
true.
So if I told you that back in February,
True.
you'd be like, "That's amazing news." So you should feel amazing today. Honestly.
That's great. That is great news. And
Oh, John,
I feel.
that's so nice.
What's the matter? Oh,
She's cheering you up,
I
making
agree.
you feel
I
good
agree.
about
And
yourself.
by the way, like we sort of, I'm not taking credit. We just sort of threw it out there that there's this $5,800 a plate fundraiser coming up. It is the region. I feel somewhat a sense of responsibility to make sure he's not totally welcome in the region, right?
Yes.
I mean, Chesterton's a region. We all agree. So
Yes.
you show up in the region and you expect a warm, like welcoming attitude. Nah, that ain't happening, Senator Young. So we'll get into that. We're gonna start off reading a little bit of bills before we go off the air, so at least we could say You know,
Can we debate whether or not Chesterton is part of the region?
Yeah,
for
we're going to have
one
to
moment?
talk about that.
Wow.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what position I'm going to take because I'm running for office.
Yeah, well, and I want everybody to consider this. Jim Gaffigan is from Chesterton, so don't you want to pull Jim Gaffigan into
Let's
this?
have this debate right now.
All right.
I'm firmly in the camp Chesterton is from the region. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. I think when you go out into Michigan City and LaPorte, the debate gets a little stronger, and you're going to find that I'm still of the opinion that Michigan City and LaPorte are also part of the region. So
Okay, when we have the big 219-day event for the region, the big region event of the year, how many people from Chesterton are in the Hammond Civic Center
dude,
that
there's
day?
people
Yeah,
from
but
all
like,
over.
25%.
How many people live in Chesterton? Like, you can't compare Chesterton to Hammond people coming by. I mean, it's far and it's
What do you
a smaller
think?
town.
A couple 100,000 people probably live in LaPorte. LaPorte County. Oh, in Chesterton, you're saying. I'm sorry.
In Chesterton, specifically.
Chesterton's
20 to 30 in there.
Gotcha.
range. Yeah.
In that ballpark, I agree with John. Right.
Can
20
I?
to 30 people, right?
This is what one of the things that everybody needs to focus on. You know, a lot of times you go to other places in the world and you meet people from Northwest Indiana. Like, we need to increase our base.
I agree.
You know, I lived in other parts of Indiana, Indianapolis, and down in Clarksville for 7 years. Like, you want to have more people who are from up here.
That
so
region.
we just want to stretch it out as far
I
as
agree
it
with
can
you,
go.
John.
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
are you from the region? It's such a good moniker. It's like easy to talk to people across the state. And if I see somebody from Chesterton, I believe they're totally from the region.
100%.
If I see somebody from Michigan City, I believe they're totally from the region.
Yes.
Now, LaPorte City, I feel like they're part of the region, but I think I start losing some support on that one.
It tails off at the end.
Here's the funny part.
To LaPorte City seems to me like it's out there more like South Bend. They're more like geared towards South Bend. I bet you they even watch South Bend TV in LaPorte City.
So you're saying you're making it sound like people want to be part of the region
do,
for
Phil.
sure.
They
Okay.
do.
But yet when you're on vacation and you're in a different state,
Where do you say you're
and
from?
somebody says, "Hey, where are you from?"
What do you say?
90% of the time people say Chicago.
What do you say?
I say Northwest Indiana.
What do you say?
I
John?
swear I do every
I
time.
say East Chicago specifically.
I say Gary. No,
Do
just
you?
kidding. No,
I hear people say Chicago all
I
the
usually
time.
say Chicago.
And I hate that because we got to let people know we're cool people. They need to know we're from Indiana.
Sure.
We're not Chicago
I'm
people.
going to stop saying that. I do say Chicago. I'll be honest with
Everybody
you.
does.
Yeah.
Everybody, and
Because
you
it's a
go
big
with-
city, and literally, I mean, I ride my bike to Chicago, so like, yeah, Hammond. But like, when you're out in public, like in America, and you say Hammond, they say, "Well, is that in Louisiana or
But Northwest
Yeah.
Indiana works. I think you should say
Northwest Indiana?"
This is what I always say, and I think this is something that potential voters need to focus on. Your job as mayor and like policing the city and helping the police department do their job is so difficult because Hammond, where's Hammond? It's sandwiched between Chicago and Gary. Police work is 100% all day, every day. And like, honestly, the city does a really effective job of being fair and also making criminals feel completely unwelcome.
You say stuff that I can't say.
Yeah.
You just said something I would never say as an elected official. Usually when I talk about crime problems, I don't talk about Hoosier cities that help cause the crime problem. I say, I live right next to Chicago, and we get a lot of... But, like, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. But, like, because I'm a good elected official and I try not to point the fingers at people that could eventually vote for me, I usually just point to my neighbor to the west and say this is where most of my problems come from. But we do have Hoosier imported crime also. There's no doubt about it.
And we're kind of known, and I know we're biased, for having one of the best police departments in all
we
of
are
Indiana.
biased.
There's
I
no
agree.
doubt about it.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about it in this area.
Especially in Hammond.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah.
There's two things that I point out when I think of the police work and like the tools that you've given the police, like the mayor and the city council, because license plate readers, you're monitoring every single car that comes into the city. I got a case.
Do you use that as a lawyer?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they use it against me a lot. I'll tell you that. There's
He's on the wrong side, Mayor.
Yeah, I hate those license plate readers.
We catch him. John's trying to defend
That's
him.
what I'm
and
trying to do.
Get him
But
back on the
I
street.
get paid to do that, so like, don't judge me. But some lady was, I'll say, possibly falsely accused of robbing a White Castle through the drive-thru.
I got you. I
She
remember this case.
she snatched off her license plate.
Uh-huh.
And so what the Hammond police did, amazing work. They just took the make and model and color of the car about when it was, and they're tracking other cars exactly like that.
Yeah.
And then found who she allegedly was through her license plate. They had like 5 cars that make and model color registered in the city of Hammond. They look for
Driving
females,
around at that particular time.
or just within the past 30 days. And so she took off her license plate, completely untraceable, but they were able to get it through the license plate reader track. It tracks make and models of
Dude,
cars.
how about this? this is another crazy thing about the LPR cameras is, let's say that you have a girlfriend in Hammond, okay, and you don't live there, you live in like Crown Point or something, but you hang out at your girlfriend's, you stay
Chesterton.
once or twice a week, you stay at your girlfriend's house, and you park your car in front of it, and you're there all night, and you only do it every once in a while. It's not your house, right? Hammond Police, well, we have cars that drive around, they're LPR cars, and they memorize where cars are. So if your car is sitting in front of your girlfriend's just once a week, what'll happen is if we ever are eventually looking for your car, they type in that license plate, and LPR will come up and say, well, this car has a tendency to hang out at this place.
Oh, my God.
It's crazy,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's freaking accurate.
too
It could be
much.
just like your girlfriend's house. By the way, John, we only use this. We're not doing it to track our wives and stuff like that. You're doing it to catch bad guys that are like accused of violent crimes. So like I could live with myself, and I do agree that it is very Big Brother-ish, but we're using it for the best of purposes to try to keep John Cantrell employed, attorney at law, right?
Well, it makes people not want to come here. So, like, you're really
Bad guys.
Bad people.
Bad guys.
Not
Bad
a single
guys.
person wants to
makes
come
bad
here.
guys not want
Well,
to come here.
that's the point.
Like, I don't give a shit if my license plate's tracked. I could care less,
I'm
right?
Exactly.
saying it makes people not want to come here and commit crimes because you're going to get caught and they're going to be able to track you. So if you're going to pick a house you're going to break into, do you do one with cameras or one without cameras?
That's
if you're
right.
going to go commit crimes, do you pick the city
You
with or
talk,
without it?
talk to bad guys, and they say, what are the kinds of things you look for when you're going to break into a house? No dogs. Dogs are deterrent. Even little yappers. They're loud, and it draws attention. Alarm systems, if you have
Car in the
security
driveway.
cameras, cars in the driveway.
Yep.
Like these are, and if you have a dead-looking house with no dog, and yeah, that's the kind of house that gets broken into.
And the second thing that the city and the police department really do that nobody else does, at least around here, is when a police officer in Hammond leaves their police car, body cam goes on.
Yeah.
They don't have the ability to turn them off, turn them on, because it's amazing in criminal defense. Whenever somebody gets the crap kicked out of them by a cop, it's not on camera.
That's crazy.
And whenever my client is doing something terrible, it's always on camera. If you have the ability to switch on and off your body cam, how does that make it fair?
You're right.
It doesn't make it fair. The cops can pick
It's
and choose
edited.
when they're it's their highlight reel of what happened, and it takes
Right.
out all the stuff that they want you to see, and that can't happen in Hammond. The officers have to turn their camera off when they go into the bathroom, and there's signs all over the police department saying you got to turn your camera off once you enter and pass this specific door, and they'll even ask them if they turned off their camera because they're always on when they get out of the squad, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when they turn on their lights, I think it automatically goes on in their car also.
Yeah.
When they put on their squad lights, right, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely.
So literally, they don't even have to think about it. They go, "Pew," and then their
Pops
camera,
on.
right?
And you know
and
what's
then
funny?
we could see, and usually, like when I have to look at a body cam, it's usually something went wrong. So we pull the body cam, and you could actually see the officer pulling up to the scene, getting out, and you're with the officer. You could hear everything. It's, I could tell you, I've been mayor 18 years. And I was mayor before body cams, and I'm mayor after body cams. And I could tell you that one thing that's gone away in regards to police officer complaints is you would have a client, maybe it was one of John's clients, and they say to John, Officer so-and-so in Hammond Police arrested me, beat the crap out of me, and said racial things to me. And it was totally unprofessional. They were calling me a name. They were saying this, and it was unprofessional. And then, of course, that they complained to the police department. That ends up at the mayor's office, and I'm like, okay. Officer so-and-so allegedly did an unprofessional arrest, and they said this, and they said that, and it was unprofessional, and it was racial. And then you go, okay, Officer so-and-so, this is the allegation. What do you have to say? And Officer so-and-so would say that never happened. I was totally professional. I would never say any such thing. And you're just sort of like, and nobody else witnessed it. It was one person's word against another. What do you do with that?
Nothing.
You
Right.
put it in their file.
Nothing.
And basically, if you start to see a pattern of Officer so-and-so, having similar types of arrests, saying similar types of things, then you have something, right? Now, with body cams, that's all gone.
Well, and I remember when you were first instituting them, I think police officers were a little apprehensive in the beginning. Now, to a man, they love the body cam. Every single police officer loves that they have it. It protects them. And it's great for every department. Every police officer in the United States of America should have a body cam. There's no doubt about that.
100%,
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
So you even, from a defense attorney side, you even agree?
Yes, because it changes behavior 100%. You're not
Changes
gonna,
officer behavior.
Changes officer behavior, and we all now know. You didn't have cameras that were as big as a VCR strapped to your shoulder, and everybody was catching stuff on camera. But now everybody has a camera in their back pocket. Everything's on camera. Surveillance is everywhere. Cops are getting, and there's a couple bad apples in all lots. But,
Yeah, for sure.
now they're getting caught. So it changes behavior. People people and police officers now realize that they have to tell the truth because it's probably on camera. And if you give the police officers the right to turn on and off their body cam, they're useless and ineffective.
We have a general order in Hammond. So.
Every other police department needs to follow that lead.
Any interaction with the public has to be on tape, and if it's not, it's a red flag for me as mayor. It's like, why is your body cam not on? Well, I turned it off because I was going to the bathroom, and then when I walked out of the bathroom, something was happening. Right? You could almost, but like that's the thing is, to me, if something bad happens and it's not on tape. And I've seen body cams where I thought the officer acted appropriately, and I've seen body cams where I thought the officer acted inappropriately, and we didn't do anything publicly with the officer, but we did play the tape for the officer and said, and this is an officer I knew, and he's a great officer, but it's like, hey, you know, they're dealing with kids here, and I don't think you acted appropriately. Maybe you could have de-escalated it a little instead of escalated it, and we critique the officer. It's not like a formal disciplinary proceeding or anything, but it's just like, hey, you know, everything's on tape, guys. Like, we're gonna look at this. Like, if I'm an officer, you know, and I'm taping, I know I'm taping, and I'm acting appropriately.
Absolutely.
Why isn't that the law in Indiana and a federal law? Like, why shouldn't all officers?
You know why? It's expensive as hell, man. The cams themselves are expensive, and John could probably shed more light on this. The data to store all that video, John.
Oh, I can't imagine. It's got to be.
You don't really do that with PD?
No.
It's incredible, right?
But I'm aware of the size of footage. I can't imagine.
And we have to keep it, obviously. John, you would know more about how long we have to keep that video.
I mean, every department has a different number that you need to go, and so what you're really supposed to do is just race to get it and preserve it. Send a letter, so they have to preserve it and they can't destroy it.
Right?
Because I mean, every spot is different. It depends on capacity.
I mean, think about it. I have 210 police officers, and they're wearing body cams, and they're working 8, 12-hour days, and everything that they do is being taped. And we have to store everyone every day, 365 days a year. It's an incredible amount of data that we're holding. So, yeah, that's interesting stuff. So, hey, by the way, the good news is we're still on the air.
All right.
We were a little bit late. We apologize again to everybody. We came into the studio this morning, and it was chaos from the moment we walked in. But Vesmar pulled us through like the great technical wizard he is.
Kevin Smith failed.
Kevin Smith booby trap. He did booby trap.
No doubt about it.
Tom was like, should I call Kevin? I'm like, what's he going to do out there?
What's he going to do? I just wanted him to feel bad, basically. We're in your office, and your internet sucks.
Misery loves company, Kevin.
Yeah,
He's
I wanted
sweating.
him to just
He's
think about it. But you know, he's listening. Kevin's out there. He's working hard in Arizona right now.
Is this his doll,
I think
by
he's
the way?
got a deposition.
Doll.
No,
that's
mine.
Ruth, man.
That's
I
mine.
know it's
Who
Ruth,
How did we get that one, Lindsay?
Who brought that in?
Guess what? I wasn't paying attention.
You weren't paying attention at all to.
No, you guys were
Or
kind
you
of
weren't
just
paying
talking
attention.
about like legal mumbo jumbo, and you know, it's not my thing. So
How did we get
I pulled
Ruth's
my
doll?
phone out.
How did we get the Ruth? Did Marissa give that to us?
I was not here when you got that. I came back. I came in
Isn't that
one
sad?
Friday.
People are giving us
and-
gifts, and we just don't know where we got them
The
from.
last time I was here, I felt terrible because I didn't bring anything in, and here,
Yeah, by the way.
same thing.
You can still,
I still feel
just
terrible.
because you could still bring it in. I mean, it's
Yes.
fine.
Yeah.
Oh, Marissa says that Dad stole it from her.
Whoa.
That's what it was. I stole it from
Whoa.
Marissa. I mean, stealing is a tough word, though. Let's agree. I mean,
Well,
It's her words, not
marital
mine.
property.
Yeah,
marital
Marissa,
property.
that's what it is.
property.
Thank you, John.
Yes.
Thank you,
in
John.
one aspect, I'm glad it's not your doll. I'm glad you did steal
No,
it from
I knew it
somebody
would
else.
look good in here. Marissa got it as a gift from somebody during Christmas, if I remember correctly.
She's an
For
amazing
her
woman.
birthday.
Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah, you're talking about
wouldn't
my
want
wife,
it?
right?
Who wouldn't want that?
You're talking about my
Oh,
wife being an amazing woman, right? Or Ruth.
Both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing judicial officers, to be honest with you.
I love Ruth. However, if Ruth would have resigned instead of passing away,
Yeah.
things would be a lot different right now, wouldn't they?
Mm.
With Roe versus Wade, 5-4.
Hey. I can
Whoa.
have a bank account and a credit card because of that woman.
I agree, Lindsay.
So
but
let's not
there's a certain
let's
point.
put some respect on her
Hold
name.
on. Hear me out. Okay? She's a Supreme Court justice in the age of Trump, right? Mm-hmm. And she had an opportunity before Trump became president, during Obama's presidency, to resign from the Supreme Court and have President Obama appoint her replacement. If that happens, the court's 5-4 right now, and Roe versus Wade's not overturned.
Would,
Instead,
but when Obama was...
Hold on.
Okay,
So instead,
okay.
she goes into the Trump term and passes away. And then
if
Trump
she
gets
had
to fill her
resigned
spot.
during Obama's presidency, would his nomination have gone through? Because he
Valid
tried
question.
to
First half.
Valid
nominate.
question.
He tried to nominate people.
Merrick Garland.
And
the
they
Attorney
were,
General.
Yeah.
He should be. Merrick Garland should be on the Supreme Court. And
For sure.
And
So-
if that went through, we wouldn't be in this position. But
Okay.
we could do a lot of what ifs right now.
No. I get that. And that's legit. And I talk about that campaigning that Merrick Garland shouldn't be our Attorney General. He should be our U.S. Supreme Court Justice. And if he's on the court, it's definitely 5-4 right now. And Roe versus Wade's not getting overturned. But think about it, if Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg thought about it, being a good, she wants the court to be in her majority. If she does that and Merrick Garland's on the court, then America's a lot different right now. And Todd Young doesn't have protests in front of his events in Chesterton.
We're getting deep early on in this podcast. We're getting deep.
So why don't we shoot through some ads, guys, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little Todd Young protest.
Okay.
You guys gonna help me out here?
I wish
sir.
I went, but
Okay,
I
John.
have work.
You start with number one.
John Cantrell. No. Cantrell and Cantrell.
You do the top one there.
Calumet Brewing, nearly 10 years in the making. Bud Light Next, our first zero-carb beer, is the result of a brewing breakthrough that makes the impossible possible. Super crisp and refreshing, Bud Light Next is a light lager with 4% ABV and is brewed with the highest quality ingredients while containing only 80 calories. 0 grams of sugar and 0 carbs. Here's what's next. Head over to calbrew.com for more info. Cheers with beers.
Okay, can we loosen up a little bit?
Yeah, man. I think they're gonna ask for their money back on that one.
was so
That reminded me
straight edge.
when Aaron McDermott was in here. Remember that? Or no, it was Brett McDermott.
It was Brett.
It was Brett. Remember?
Who didn't say 2 words the whole show?
Yes.
I know. Like, if we're gonna bring you in the studio, Brett, you freaking say something. Like
Yeah.
this is a
Anything.
podcast studio. And he's a good-looking kid, right? So he's just sitting there posing the whole time, thinking
Yeah.
that that's gonna draw more viewers.
I
like,
listened to the show. I thought he spoke a lot more than you probably remember.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Debatable.
I love my brother Brett.
Yeah.
He is a damn good-looking guy.
Put him in here for some eye candy, but
He's
he's
flexing.
not really going
He's like flexing the whole show. It's like, are you flexing? Because
Yeah.
he's not talking. You
Yeah.
know.
All right, Phil, let's see what you got.
Mission Marijuana.
Oh, we gave that one to Phil.
Are you looking for the closest cannabis dispensary to Northwest Indiana?
Brett's in the chat.
Searching for the best prices and unbeatable customer service? Then look no further. Stop into Mission Dispensary located in Calumet City across the street from the River Oaks Mall on Torrance Avenue. Visit missiondispensaries.com to learn more.
You ever been there?
I have not.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a
You're
marijuana
good boy.
guy.
I know
You
you're
know,
not.
I'm
I know you're not.
But you know what? If you did a
He's more of a
circle,
cocaine.
I was thinking about this. You did it.
Yeah.
I'm a
No,
black
he's
tar
not.
heroin
Cocaine.
kind of dude.
No, he's not.
If you did a circle where people were just drinking alcohol, I would have been part of that. In that discussion.
You should come pick me up, and then you drive me over to the Mission.
Because
Okay.
you'd have
And
a
then-
designated driver.
Designated driver. You come in, I'll show you the whole thing. It's completely clinical. You walk in.
By the way,
security's
It is.
amazing.
It is worth. Like, I know you're not going to purchase. It is worth going in to see. It's like something that's been illegal your whole life, and it's completely like for sale.
I think I've been in a place before.
Oh, you're lying.
I
Really?
have.
Huh. Where was this?
I'm
California?
trying to think. I think so. I'm trying to remember.
Were you with me?
I don't think I was with you.
Okay.
Las Vegas.
Where was I one time?
Las
Las
Vegas?
I
Vegas.
forget. But hey, John's trying to trick me. He's like, "Here, this will help you if you drive me to Mission."
See, John's always good about a designated driver.
He's just trying to get a driver. And he's trying to trick me. He's like, "No, this is a good experience for you."
Like me. Like in the commercial, I had Dr. Mike as my designated driver. Nobody believed it though, but he was my designated driver.
He
I
was
wonder why.
purportedly higher than an airplane.
No way, man. Dr. Mike,
No.
he was legit the
No, he-
designated driver
Yeah, he's just animated
on that day.
on that day.
Right.
But I mean, don't you think that you should? You're talking about dispensaries and listening to the show, and you're on the show. You should know what it's like to go there, and then you could speak more.
Yeah, I shouldn't have given you that read.
No, but you're right. That's fair. But I'm a big believer in legalizing marijuana.
Yeah, because you're a business development guy.
Not only that, because I've seen the effects of people getting hooked on like back pain pills or something, and then it leads to other stuff, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden your life completely crumbles. Where marijuana could do the same thing, have a much better effect, and not mess up people's
I'll be
lives.
honest. Phil gets the same text I get every day, John, and Lindsay and John. We get texts every day about people that died in Hammond.
Overdoses.
Died by murder, died by suicide, died by car crash, died in a fire. Anytime somebody in Hammond dies, we get texts, and it's fairly frequent, unfortunately. Right, Phil?
Unfortunately, yeah.
It's ridiculously frequent, and because I was ignorant of how many times people pass by overdose until we started this about 5 or 6 years ago, and I get a text every day about this guy died from cocaine and fentanyl, this person died from alcohol and cocaine, this person died by I've never ever in all this time we've been getting these texts have seen somebody overdose on marijuana, not one time.
You know what the sad part is, Mayor, is usually the age of the person ODing. If the thing pops in my head, I'm like, you didn't even start your life yet.
I agree.
24 years old, you didn't even start your life. You don't even know what life is about yet. And you just died. I mean,
do you guys ever look at the obituaries in the paper?
Yes.
Do you?
I do not.
I do too.
There's
a certain
I'm
age.
an ambulance chaser.
But like, that's true. But there's a certain age. Did you always do that, John?
Yes.
Even when we were first starting out?
Ambulance chaser. Sir.
You did, even when we were partners?
Yes. I know a lot of people. Why wouldn't you check that out?
Oh, I do. I do
Yeah.
it for that reason.
Yeah.
And I also do it with the curiosity of what year they were born, how old they were.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right.
more like, in my mind, it's like, these guys are getting close to my age. It's like...
If you remember when we first started practicing, you and I stared at the phone hoping
I
it
was
would
talking
ring.
about
So
that the other day.
A lot of time to read the paper.
I was talking
Yeah.
about that when I was mentioning your commercial. I said we plugged in the phone 864 law, our first phone number, and we plugged it in, and we were like, okay, let's go.
Yeah,
And
but
it didn't ring for
It was
like
about
2 days.
8 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a long time.
explain this, though, or unless you're partially joking, but even as an ambulance chaser, how do you read an obituary like, oh, there's a case here? I can...
Well, if it's a car crash or something like that.
Do they
but-
even put that in obituaries? They just say this person passed, here's their
Well,
family.
if it's a 28-year-old or something like that, right?
Sure. It's easy to find out how somebody passed away.
Oh, so the obituary's not going to say that, though.
Right.
You're just... First
Sometimes
you're
it
getting
does. It says like you want to make donations to the Cancer Society or something. Then you could figure it out,
Gotcha.
right?
And a lot of times what you do see is there's an article and somebody died in a car crash. Somebody died in a car
Yeah,
crash.
you'll get the article and then the
you-
obituary.
And it won't say the person's name, and there's no follow-up, and then you see the obituary 2 days later.
And the obituary is good for family, so you know everybody's name. And
Well, not like you can't do that. You're not reaching out to people. But if I know somebody passed away and they call me, you're trying to see if they have a case. You're trying to evaluate, whether or not. Because I have a lot of clients who end up causing, their demise through like drinking and driving. So like they died in a car crash, but it was their fault. Whatever. Yeah.
Do you think it's healthy for you to read obits every day, though?
I do. I mean, I like being aware, so I don't think it's healthy. It's not like I'm stressed about dying because these people that pass are usually 30 years older than me still, so I know I got a couple decades in front of me still.
It's just there's so much negativity in this world. Like, I can't see myself waking up like, let me read all
No,
the
it's
names.
not like the first thing I go, oh my God, I got to hit them. Whoa, I'm awake. Give me the obituaries. I want to, no. It's
Honey,
not
give
like
me
that.
a bowl of Lucky Charms and the obits. Let's get to work.
I read about murder and death and mayhem first, and then I work my way to the obituary.
And then you do the Wordle.
And then I do Wordle.
Yeah.
By the way, hearing John talk about the ins and outs of this stuff, I can't wait to get into this new segment Phil thought of. Weird news stories with John and Phil.
Awesome.
Because he is going to give, this California cop. I can't wait to hear John find a way to defend him.
Well, first we got to get through our ads. So let's go next.
yes.
Executive Suite Squared, commonly known as ES2, is a first-class executive office environment located on 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. ES2 offers flexible membership plans that provide the privacy of dedicated, fully furnished offices with 24/7 secured access. For more information on their basic or private office membership packages or to rent one of their state-of-the-art conference rooms, call them at 219-844-2901 or visit them at executivesuites2.com.
The Bug Guy Pest Control. We're finally thawing from the coldest and wettest spring in the last 63 years. Summer temperatures mean unwanted summer guests such as ants, flies, wasps, and more visiting your house and yard. Shut down their party before they get started. A comprehensive pest plan from the Bug Guy will help you enjoy the great outdoors as well as the indoors all summer long. To solve your pest problem or to start a preventative plan, call the Bug Guy today.
The big bug guy.
The
Big bad bug
Brian,
guy.
the Bug Guy. Call the Bug Guy today and tell the pest he's on the way. Call Brian, 219-810-7481, or visit thebugguynwi.com.
What's
I
your
got an
idea?
idea, Lindsay. You're going to like this.
Yeah.
The big bag bug guy
His name's Brian.
needs a song from Eli.
Ooh.
Didn't we talk about that last time?
No, because that's catchy. The big bag bug guy, right?
Yeah.
Eli could do something with that.
Easy.
I think this is a good idea.
Eli, we got $200 with your name all over it.
And we will own the rights of that song in perpetuity.
We're going to wait until Tortilla Nuevo Leon goes huge.
Just
And
international.
we're going to cash in on that check.
Because let's be
John,
honest.
we planted a seed with Eli. And we gave him a $200 check, and he comes up with Tortilla Nuevo Leon, and it's so catchy.
The winner.
Dude, Tortilla Nuevo Leon is going to be like the Apple of tortillas one day. And we're sitting here with our little $200 check. It's going to be worth billions.
Sure.
No, but let's be honest. He did that. It's a great ad, great jingle. Everybody loves it.
Favorite song of all time.
It's time for number 2. Where's the? You
Yeah.
got to follow that up.
The
You
big
can't
bag
just-
bug guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Was he a
This is
one-hit
it.
wonder? Or?
Bad
He's a one-hit
bug
wonder,
guy.
man.
I would
He's the
think
big
I would
bad
hope that
bug
Eli
guy.
is not a one-hit wonder.
Well,
so that's the question,
prove
Eli.
He's definitely not. He doesn't have one-hit wonder energy.
Does he
Okay.
have range? I mean, that's.
He's
Does
got
he have range?
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
And it
energy.
can't sound like Tortilla Nuevo Leon song. It's got to be independent. But big
No,
bag
but I
bug guy.
think like a bluesy like kind of deal would work
All right.
really well.
Eli, the challenge is officially laid down. We got $200 that says
The
you
gauntlet.
cannot come up with a good jingle for the big bag bug guy.
I'm
big bad
interested.
bug guy.
I'm excited about this.
He's big, he's bad, he's Northwest Indiana's bug guy, right?
I
Something
like it.
right?
I hate that.
The big bag bug guy.
Eli plays
Please
venues.
never sing again.
Like I know he plays
Oh.
like he plays like 313 Tap Room, for example. I think he puts a jar out, and if you put money in, you could tell him what song to play. Like we could tell him to pay Tortilla Nuevo Leon next time I go.
Next
I'm
time
like,
we go out.
I want the tortilla
Dude,
song,
I bet
sir.
you the place would go. We would know how much Lockpod reaches out.
That's a good point.
Next
yes.
time we see,
Tortillas
okay, we're
People
definitely
start
doing
clapping
that.
along. If everybody in the crowd goes, yeehaw!
There we go, dude.
Oh.
That's it.
We're doing that next
Yes.
time Eli plays in
Okay.
public. We got to find out when Eli plays in public next.
Okay.
We throw it in and we
I'm on
say
it.
Tortilla Nuevo Leon. We want
Yes.
to hear that song. I love it.
I'll put the $20 in the jar for him to play that song.
And if nobody in the whole crowd knows what the hell he's singing,
Yeah.
it's time to
Then we
fold up the
quit.
tents. Lockpod
quit.
goes off the air.
and no pressure on him, but if the song isn't as good as song number 1,
Yeah.
then you can open it up to other, submissions.
I mean, Tortilla Nuevo Leon, he hit a home run with that.
Oh
one.
yeah, you can't beat that.
Wow.
He cranked it out of the
Yeah,
park,
yes.
right?
You can do like
And he made that in like a day.
Dude, it was so quick.
you need to have him sign a contract, and like if things take off, you get a little piece of the action.
We're
And
like-
maybe we
Yeah.
can offer it as like an incentive for advertisers. Be like, if you pay like premium, you get a song, a theme song.
Oh,
we
yeah.
we
God,
freaked
that's
Eli out a
perfect.
little bit with the $200 check, I have to admit.
Why?
I don't think he ever cashed it.
no?
He thought like
What?
we were going to be his agents or something if he cashed it.
Oh,
That's so
yeah.
funny.
He hung it up
Smart
on the wall,
man.
I believe.
That's
yeah.
so great.
I like where it's
Because like he heard our show and we were like making out a thing like, oh, he doesn't know he's gonna cash this check and it's gonna be worth millions, right? He never cashed it.
Whoa. Smart guy.
I mean, to be honest, maybe he just wanted to donate it back to Lockpod because he's a believer.
He is a believer.
Yeah.
He's
Wow.
listening right now. Eli, we need a big bag bug guy.
Yep.
We'll give you the read if you need it. Get it from Steve.
And cash that check.
He's big and he's bag. He's Northwest Indiana's bug guy, Eli, and he needs a song because that's a tongue twister trying to read that thing off every
It
day.
is. The song would be much easier.
It would be much
I
easier.
agree.
Graciola's Concrete. Graciola's Concrete was voted number 1 in the Times Best of the Region.
Griziola.
Griziola.
Bernie. You know Bernie?
Yeah. Yes, he's been in my house. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
He's my client. I've defended him 10
No,
times.
Really?
No,
Oh my
no,
God. Tell me
he's-
more.
He's a sweetie. No. He's voted. How do you say it?
You know what? Don't feel bad.
I'm saying it wrong all this time.
Dude, I've known Bernie like
Yes.
15 years, 16 years.
Yeah.
I've been saying his name wrong until like about a year ago.
But I
it's Grizzolia. I was calling him Griziola for my whole life.
There's a huge family from East Chicago with the last name that's pronounced the way I said it. So I
Say it again.
Graciola.
That's wrong.
No, he's wrong.
He's wrong. Bernie, would you start pronouncing your name the right way?
No,
For
guys,
God's sakes, Bernie.
This is weird for me because I've always called him Bernai.
Silent D. The silent D.
I thought it was Bernai.
Bernai?
Yes.
Wait, is it not Bearney?
Well, this is fact. Bernie's Concrete was voted Times Best of the Region in 2020 and 2021. Bernie's Concrete specializes in all concrete projects, and they have been used in the original cement finish in the
California style.
since 1972. They also offer stamped and color concrete. Call now, 219-659-4147 to get your project lined up for the summer. He honestly does great work.
Oh my God!
He does.
Bernie's Concrete is amazing. They've done my backyard was done by Bernie. Like a lot of the big jobs that I do.
Everybody
my brothers,
says you have a nice backyard.
it is. It's decent. It's not as nice as yours. Yours is
Hello.
brand new. No, mine.
Your backyard. I was talking about your backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my backyard. I got you.
yeah.
I got
It was
you.
a compliment, kind of.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about a protest that just happened, if you guys don't mind.
Yep.
We talked about Senator Young. I thought this is very tasteless. He's got $6 million. And I don't really think he needs to raise much more, being honest with you, for this race. I mean, I don't know what he's going to do with all this money unless he's planning on giving it away, like the Republicans do, give $125 to each Hoosier. But Todd Young's still raising money. He had a $5,800 per head fundraiser last night at the Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore at the pavilion that's been newly renovated, which was controversial in itself. Did you guys remember the backstory on the pavilion rental?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, they were trying to put a restaurant or a bar in there or something, right?
They were successful.
Okay.
But the thing that was controversial about it is Chuck Williams, who's a big-time Republican in Porter County, totally like close to the governor. He's like a very influential Republican. He also coincidentally got control of National Lakeshore Pavilion and got a liquor license in it. It was super controversial. And a lot of people would say that were it not for Chuck Williams being totally plugged in, there's no way in hell anybody would have got permission to sell alcohol at that event.
Yeah.
And he's going to make a mint off of it. Like, there's one building there, and a politically connected insider gets it. Politically connected insider gets a liquor license at that, and there's no liquor previously allowed there. And now all of a sudden, this politically connected insider is going to make millions of dollars off of a federal piece of land.
You mean a monopoly was created?
A monopoly is created, and quite frankly, he's going to make a lot of money. God bless him. I mean, but like the question is, if it's not Chuck Williams, the connected Republican politician, if it's Joe Blow that wants to do the same thing, does Joe Blow have a chance? No way in hell.
Right.
Joe Blow, screw you. You have no chance. But if you're Chuck Williams and you're connected politically, yeah, we'll do whatever we can for you there, Chuck.
Because it's one of 63 state parks in the country or something like that.
And it's one of the only that actually sells alcohol to a private business like this one does. Hey,
Wow.
but we're in the region, and we all agreed Chesterton is the region.
Yes,
So
100%.
We
So-
didn't all agree, but
So anyway, so Phil is anti-Chesterton for some reason today.
Wow, what is that about, Phil?
I just don't think they're. No, I like
those
Chesterton.
Trojans. I don't know.
You're
I don't
good
know. If I
people.
was in Chesterton, I'd be wondering what's
You're
going
good
on here.
people. You're not part of the region.
Oh my God, dude!
Wow.
This is
Jim
Tom
Gaffigan.
McDermott running for U.S. Senate. Does not agree with that.
You see Jim Gaffigan in Las Vegas, and you say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm from the region too." You're not going to say that.
I've never said that. Well, I've never talked.
Would
to
you
him.
tell Jim Gaffigan he's not from the region?
He
He's gonna
uses
have to
a lot
change
of
his
region
act.
jokes.
He's going to have to change
Yes.
his act. He talks about
You're-
region
all right, tell me
stuff.
this. Well, no, I can't. You're running for something, John.
No, I'll tell you.
If you grew up in Hammond, Indiana,
I grew up in
you
East
think,
Chicago.
and you grew up in Chesterton, you think you had the same.
Street cred? No.
Well, okay, that's what I'm saying. You didn't
But
grow up
like-
in the same environment at all. That's
But that's like if you grow up in Chicago, in downtown Chicago, where it's real fancy, and then you grew up on the south side of Chicago in the projects, you still grew up in Chicago.
But the region has this connotation to it. It's got this feel to it. It's got this, like, I grew up in this type of environment. I don't think Chesterton has
But
that.
part of that is Chesterton has to play against region teams all the time in their conferences and
That's
all that.
fair. No, that'd be okay.
And so, like, if they're like quote unquote wimpy white kids,
Yeah.
and then they go to have to play basketball games in Gary and in Hammond and in East Chicago and in Griffith and tough region teams. I mean, I would make them more region than not region.
Everybody here just has a level of toughness that doesn't always exist in a lot of places.
Even in Chesterton.
Chesterton for sure. Chesterton,
Right.
Portage,
Chesterton's a
Valpo.
they have badass sports teams.
Yes, they're beasts of humans.
Yeah, dude, they're always
yes,
they're
for
always
sure.
good. State championships, great baseball teams. Like
We want them. We want them in.
so,
for sure.
Phil is firmly anti-Chesterton. We agree with
But
that.
I mean, I want
Staunch.
Michigan. I want Michigan City in there. I
I agree.
Yes,
Michigan
for
City's
sure.
definitely part of the region.
Is Valpo
Yes.
the region?
Yes,
Valpo's the region
yes.
for sure. Phil,
Yes.
You know what? Why don't we'll throw Orland Park in there? Why don't we?
that's across the
You know,
state
guys,
line, buddy.
Oak Lawn. Why don't you?
But,
let's just.
But
we'll move west too.
What about Winfield?
Would you say that
Winfield's part of the region.
Schneider and Leroy are towns in Lake County, right on the river.
Okay.
Probably people say
Yeah.
Schneider in Lake County. No, it's in Lake County.
Phil,
And so
Snyder and Leroy?
So you're Chesterton.
Schneider
is
has like
clo-
230 people or
But
something.
it's close. Chesterton's
doesn't even
closer
matter.
to Hammond than Schneider.
I
is.
love this. Phil's right.
Crown Point, Phil? Is Crown Point in the region?
I don't know. I think we should
my
change the
God.
subject.
By the way, Phil might.
Wanata.
Yeah.
There's
Wanna
going
talk.
to be a sea of humans in the region that either agree with us or agree with
Okay,
Phil.
all
I'm
right,
going to
look,
say
look,
it's 50-50. It's
So,
50.
so we got Phil on the record as he's anti-Chesterton, he's anti-Schneider, anti-Leroy.
So wait, is it Lake
Crown
County? Is the
Point.
region only Lake County? That's the question.
There's kind of, to me, maybe that's where my head's at. I don't know.
We need
I'd
a
have
poll.
to think about it. But here's the thing. Okay, I'll say like Chesterton and Crown Point are part of the region, but I don't think they have the same upbringing as people
They
like
don't have
in
the same
our
upbringing.
area.
They don't have the same
No.
upbringing,
You
but
gotta
they
be
have to play
careful.
a little
we have some
different.
people from Chesterton in the chat.
I agree.
We have
I
a,
see
They're
them.
getting pissed.
we have a vibe here. Like I went to law school in Indianapolis. There's 1,000 kids in the school. I can go through and pick out all the region people if you put everybody in a
They got
lineup.
edge,
Yeah.
right?
Like, and everybody hung out together. It was real cliquish. Judge Sasha Dimitrievich was down there, and she's from Munster. Like everybody just clings together, and so we want as many people considered in the region because it's a region against the world.
So it's a participation award.
No, it's a vibe.
We do need
It's
to
a
change
vibe.
this because
It's
my
a
phone's blowing
vibe.
up. I know people are like, I am in big trouble.
Let's see. Let me read the top one. It says, Phil, I live in Chesterton. Fuck you. Look at that. Okay. Yeah, Phil's. So anyway, we sort of got sidetracked on Todd Young's event yesterday.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to go a step further and say I think people from Chesterton and Valpo, maybe even Crown Point, don't want to be considered part of the region. How about that?
Just
thought?
when Tom's trying to go back to the story,
How about
John's
that
like,
thought?
hold on.
I think, I don't know, man. I think being part of the region's very cool.
Yes.
I think it gives you credibility, like John said, when you're downstate. When they say, where are you from? You say, I'm from the region. They're like, okay.
You kind of look at me and are like, I get,
So,
I
but
get you.
but 219 Day, that's region. I think of region people,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And that extends up to South Bend. South Bend, you start to go 574. So when you head closer to there, so that everybody in Michigan City, LaPorte, they all have 219 numbers still.
True.
All right, here's that. We're going to do a challenge the next 219 Day that we can get right back to your story.
Yes.
Next 219 Day, we're going to have everybody, when they walk in, they're going to put their address, where they're from, or where, I don't know if we want to put their high school or whatever. We're going to see how many people are from Chesterton at that
There'll be
event.
people from Chesterton there.
A couple.
I have
No.
friends from Chesterton that go there every 219
Because they like you.
Tom's going to
they
make
go
sure
because
now.
they like parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Todd Young's event, $5,800 a head. I take a little credit, a little bit, because the campaign put out a tweet like, "Hey, we had a picture of Todd's." I had a friend that was going to the event, or that had a picture of the event, and he's like, "Can you believe the gall of this guy? $5,800, and he's stripping civil liberties away from all these women." So he sends me a copy of the ticket, and I get pissed because I see some names on the ticket that I know, like Matt Murphy, the mayor of Valparaiso, who's a friend of mine, and quite frankly, I feel like he's letting me down personally, and I understand he's Republican, but this guy, when he was running for mayor of Valpo, I stayed out of that race, and I knew the Democrat running, but I stayed out because of my respect for Matt Murphy, because I know this guy. We're on boards together. I've known him way before he became mayor, so like puts you in a weird spot when a dude you've known runs for mayor and he runs as a Republican, right? And I was like sad when I saw his name on there. It's like, seriously? Like, you know me as a person and you can't stay out of this race. But whatever, man. I hope Matt feels better about his life, supporting Todd Young, as Todd Young stripping the civil liberties away from half of Hoosier women, half of Hoosiers, 3.3 million Hoosier women. So anyway, we put this out and say, if I were one of the 3.3 million Hoosier women that was losing my civil liberties, I wouldn't pay $5,800 to speak to Todd Young, but I'd show up. And maybe protest at the state park, and so when he's driving through, he has to drive through a bunch of protesters as they're on their way to eat their lobster. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, that sort of took off. We got I want to say 60 or 70 retweets on that tweet. Blew up on Facebook also, and then we sort of stood back because the women group started getting a hold of it, and they're obviously very angry about what's going on, and this turned into a thing. And I didn't show up to it, other than the initial tweet. I had nothing to do with it, and it just sort of took off from there. And it actually culminated, well, first off, there was dozens and dozens of women in front of the event with signs chanting, pissed, newspaper articles, a boat out there. I don't know if you can pull this up, John, but a boat, because this is right on the lakeshore. So a boat pulls up right as Todd Young's giving his speech, and his boat unfurls a banner that said, Todd Young, you suck. So he's giving his speech with his boat right behind him that says, you suck, Todd Young. And I think that would be total success, right?
Yeah.
That's
So-
awesome.
Yeah, and then he's like, "What?" He's
Do
like,
we
"Oh,
know
they're-
Do we know who was in the boat?
No.
Some
Lindsay,
guy
honestly,
showed up
I
and-
want to
It was
make this
Tom.
clear. We put the thought out there and bailed. Like, not bailed. Like, I don't feel appropriate because I'm a guy. And by the way, I had to speak to the Hammond Hall of Fame last night. So I had a conflicting event anyway. I can't control when Todd Young has these events. But we just put it out there like, hey, this is a good idea. I don't know if you guys want to run with it. And it ran. And it ran
Yes.
great. And it was a total success. And my goal now is Every time Todd Young has an event for $5,800, we line up out in front of it and we terrorize all the people that are going to it. We terrorize him and we say, you sold us out for, you'd rather talk to people that are giving you $5,800 than talk to the women that you're stripping civil liberties from.
Yeah, and first of all, you mentioned he's got $6 million in the account. Obviously, he needs $5,800 more per head to hear him speak. I mean, $6 million isn't enough, so he's definitely got to raise more money. But yeah, I mean, that's great. I think it's great that people are standing up. It's the First Amendment right to tell people and be at protest and let them know that you disagree with something somebody else wants to promote.
Tom, one of the things I want to tell you is that there's a lot of people who are really irritated and just riled up about all the issues that are going on in America, and everybody wants people to get out and get everybody they know, everybody they can get access to register to vote. Mm-hmm. We have from now until a couple of days in October to get people registered. Phil and I, my wife Kristen, Phil's wife Kelly, everybody is trying to get and think of ways to get everybody to register to vote, especially women, especially people who want marijuana legalized, especially people who don't like the rich people controlling the country and conservative people controlling the country. Everybody's in the middle. We all need to unite and get out and vote, and there needs to be anything you can do to think of ways to help people to get registered. We're going to have a couple festivals, rock the votes, contact Phil Taillon.
Wow. I'm about to give up my
This is cell phone number.
Everyone in Chesterton that needs to be registered to vote.
Because everybody who wants to get on board, we need a crew and we need an army of people. We have a lot of people with great ideas. We need people with skills like Vesmar has. I mean, Phil is great on TikTok. We're shooting some videos. We have so many people who want to help, and we
got a new TikTok guy on the campaign.
Do you?
Yep. Lindsay knows this person
Good.
very well. Well, we all know this person.
Is her husband?
Tomas.
Yeah.
Tommy. Newly graduated. We're going to hire him. I think he's going to actually work for the campaign until November, so I'm excited about that.
I do know him very well.
You do know him.
He is of my blood.
Yeah.
He's talented.
Hey, something that happened in the U.S. Senate the other day I wanted to talk about before we delve off into mediocrity like we've been But the other day, the U.S. Senate had a bill that would have codified Roe versus Wade. And we knew the House passed the bill by party line vote, basically, and it gets sent to the Senate where it's going to die. We all know it's going to die because the Senate is a majority Democrat. However, we have this rule in the Senate called the filibuster that requires at least 60 votes before a bill could even be heard. So what happens is, even though Democrats have 51 votes in the Senate, or 50 plus the tiebreaker, you can't get the extra 9 senators to come on board to move this bill forward. And if you can't get the 60, even though you have enough to pass it with 51, you have to hit 60 for it to move forward, which is called the filibuster for those of you that aren't aware. And this is a mechanism that's used in the Senate to kill all kinds of bills, like voting rights bills, like expanding the Affordable Health Care Act, things that are great like that. And now in this case, the U.S. Senate, led by the Democrats in the House, led by Democrats in the Senate, led by Democratic President Joe Biden, want to codify Roe versus Wade to offset what the court's about to do, which is to overrule Roe versus Wade. This is concerning, and I want to get on the soapbox for a second, just because. I don't want to make it sound like a law school lecture, but I've been warning about this for a while, and other people have been warning about it also. Is where does this stop? Because think about it, Phil. You were born in
73.
Dude, that's a perfect age. Mm-hmm. That's when Roe versus Wade came out.
Oh,
Did you know that?
I didn't know it was that year.
1973.
Was it
Roe
really?
versus Wade. So your entire life, this has been the law of the land. So think about people your age and younger, their entire life, they've had the ability, if they need it, to exercise their reproductive rights if you don't want to have a pregnancy. You're not forced to carry the baby, for 10 months and then, give birth to it and then put it up for adoption. You're not forced to do that. You have control over your body, right?
Right.
So your whole life. But if you read, so the opponents of abortion say, in the Constitution, the word abortion is not in there. True story. However, something that John and I learned when we went to law school is something called stare decisis, which is to stand on decided cases. It's precedent, right? This has been precedent in the United States for Phil's entire life, right? 50 years. How old are you?
I'm 49.
49 years. Mm-hmm. But still, so your entire life. Mm-hmm. And so even though it's not written in the Constitution, for us to respect America and respect the U.S. Supreme Court, you got to respect precedent, just like John and I were taught in law school. But now what they're saying is, things have changed. By the way, this case, Roe versus Wade, was tested again in 1992 with a case called Casey and affirmed. This has been up before the court 2 times. Now things are different. Why? Because they gerrymandered the court. They gerrymandered the court. They didn't put Merrick Garland on there. Ruth Bader Ginsburg could have stepped down, which would have made it 6-3. We wouldn't be talking about this right now. And I love Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm just pointing out the court shouldn't be 5-4 against Roe versus Wade. It should be 6-3 or 5-4 with Roe versus Wade right now. But now, so there's the thing that I'm trying to say though is obviously as horrifying as this is that they're going to reverse precedent in Indiana and states like us are going to make abortion illegal soon, probably this year. All right. There's been other landmark Supreme Court cases that have given Americans rights, like the right to same-sex marriage. Obergefell in 2015, U.S. Supreme Court. Remember what it was like, John, before? If you were a gay couple, some states would recognize it. Like I remember New Hampshire was one of them, right?
Yep.
California was one of them. Democratic states would say you could get married if you're a same-sex couple in our state, but states like Indiana, nope, you can't do it here. So you had like a patchwork of states where some states your marriage is recognized, some states your marriage is not recognized. And then this case, Obergefell, came out of the Supreme Court and said same-sex couples are allowed to be married in America. It's a protected right under the Constitution. And then everybody started marrying because of that Supreme Court case. There's no federal law that was passed and signed into law by the president that said same-sex couples are allowed. It was done through the Supreme Court. So if the Supreme Court could overrule Roe versus Wade and say it's up to the states whether or not you have this ability, they could easily do it with same-sex marriage.
For sure.
They could do it with interracial marriage. Our stupid other senator, Mike Braun, was just talking about a case called Levine versus Virginia, which the U.S. Supreme Court said it's okay for interracial couples to marry. If you're a Caucasian and you marry African-American, that's legal in 1967. Now Braun is saying, well, maybe that should be a state's decision also. And then contraceptives used to be illegal. It's hard for us to imagine. None of us can remember in 1965 when the case of Griswold came out. I put Grizziola on here. It was Griswold versus Connecticut came out. Sorry, Bernie. And it said that married couples can use contraceptives, not singles. Married couples can use contraceptives and it was legal. So what I'm saying is they didn't have the contraceptive bill passed by the Congress and signed by the president. These are landmark Supreme Court cases that gave us these rights. And now, for the first time in history, the court has taken a right away from women. And all I'm saying is, like right now, there's a lot of women that are like, I don't care. You know, I'm pro-life, so I don't care what the court's doing. But where does it stop?
What's next?
What if they say, hey, same-sex couples? Nope, sorry. Or contraceptives? Nope. Interracial marriages? Nope, not in Indiana. We don't recognize them. There's no stopping this line of thought. That's where I'm coming from. And I'm sorry to get on my soapbox, but this is a very concerning thing for me. And that's so
concerning
anyway.
For everybody.
Well, no, and I think that.
Sorry, guys. I went off.
No.
it's
Yeah,
important.
feel it.
That's
Feel
what
your
Lock
feelings.
Pod's all about.
Feel your feelings.
That's what Lock
Going
Pod's
off.
all about.
Yeah.
But I think
Feel your feelings.
after going through what we just went through with COVID and seeing all the people that got so upset when you told them, hey, we'd like you to wear a mask every once in a while to protect
You're
people around
infringing
you.
my rights.
And they just went absolutely apeshit. But these are
True
the
story.
same people that are anti-pro-choice of what a woman could do with her body in a certain situation. And it's such a double standard.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
How
So-
hypocritical.
It's so hypocritical.
Phil, that's a good point.
But the thing
You're
is,
almost 50. Good one.
so
it's not a great point, but-
the Supreme Court is more like a city council because like I work with city councils, okay, and I see work with city councils, and in city councils sometimes you do things one way in a city for a long time, and then there's a change in administration, right? And a new mayor comes in, and they get a couple new city council people, and then suddenly you're like, hey, we got the majority on this council. Why are we doing it the way the old people used to do it? Let's do it a new way, right?
Yes.
So the city council says, screw you, we got the votes. This is the way we do it. It's not supposed to work that way in the Supreme Court. They're supposed to respect precedent for consistency's sake. But it's not a city council, and they're acting like a city council, and it pisses me off.
Our whole legal system is based on the fact that you're not allowed to judge shop. You can't go to a judge and you get a ruling from a judge. He's like, no, you're wrong. And then you just say, you know what? I'm going to go file
Change the
this
judge.
in Gary. I'm going to go file this in Crown Point. You try to find a judge that'll say yes. You can't do that. You get one shot at it. If a judge tells you no, you can't drive to another town to do the same thing. Our whole system is based on you're not allowed to judge shop. So why can they keep coming back and asking when there's change of judges? Our whole system is based on the fact that you can't do this. This is so revolting, and it just riles me up. And I wanted you to feel your feelings because you should be pissed. And I know that you're the type of fella that will go in there, make changes because it's wrong and because you got the heart of a lion.
Do you ever get nervous as a lawyer?
Aw.
Thank
Heart
you,
of a
John.
lion.
Yeah, he does.
There's the
he's
title.
he's the son of a gun.
He also said something about your back door earlier too.
What'd you say
so
about
I
my
don't-
John likes
grandma?
my back.
Yeah,
John likes my
you know,
back door.
like, I'm just trying to make Tom to appeal all potential voters.
No doubt.
I have a nice back door, and I got a nice heart of a lion.
I said backside. I didn't say
Yeah, I've got a nice
door.
back door.
Hey, do you ever get nervous as a lawyer criticizing the Supreme Court
I mean,
for fear of like repercussions? And
I don't think of what is going on is correct. There's changes in the law that are made, and there's changes in the law that happen, and you're not supposed to be able to keep going back and asking the same question and asking for the same thing. And if there's a change of judge, I mean, if somebody was coming after you and they could ask 10 different judges the same thing and kept suing you all over, and you just had to defend it, like, the system would be in chaos, and it's not supposed to happen. So I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying our whole system is based on you can't do this, and it feels like that's what's going on right now.
let me ask you a question. No, there's nothing in the Constitution that says the U.S. Supreme Court has to have 9 justices. Okay, and obviously games have been played with the U.S. Supreme Court, with the Republicans in the Senate not confirming Merrick Garland. Do you think that, and this has been talked about before, the court packing, it was Eisenhower that talked about doing it because he couldn't get his New Deal legislation through the U.S. Supreme Court. Do you think that adding 2 or 4 justices is warranted?
I don't. The only reason I say I don't is I don't want to stoop to the level of what the Republicans did when they blocked the Supreme Court justices. So I think, yes, we could pack the court right now and we could, weigh it in our favor. But then next time the Republicans take control, which could be very soon, they're going to do the same. Now we're going to add on 4 more.
We have 21 justices.
And by the way, we haven't always had 9 Supreme Court justices in our history. It has been different over time. Yeah, I read something about how it's moved over the years. So
there should be, honestly, if that's the case, Phil, if we're going to respect your opinion on this, and that's a legitimate opinion, then we should put something in the Constitution because the Republicans could do the same thing. That's what I'm saying about the filibuster also. It's like the filibuster's not in the Constitution. So, like, if I'm supposed to respect the filibuster, they're like, respect the dignity of the Senate. The filibuster protects the minority. Yeah, but there's nothing to say. Right now, we're respecting the filibuster, the Democrats, right? But what if the Republicans 2 years from now say, freaking screw the filibuster. Let's get rid of this thing and we could jam the legislation through it. It's not in the Constitution. We're following laws that aren't in the Constitution.
I know
Rules.
it's not strong to say this politically, but don't we want to be the party of integrity? Like, don't we want to be the party that's doing
what
it
else
right?
I want to be the party that wins.
I understand. I agree with you.
I want to be the party that wins, Phil.
But everybody out there who doesn't vote is in this party. So we need to get them to vote because the people who feel this way in Indiana are the people who are controlling Indiana, and that's not how people feel. You talk to the people. There's some people who feel that way, but not many people feel like Senator Braun and Senator Young. But those people are voting, so we have to outvote them. The people in the middle, everybody that feels this way, that is for the people, have to meet in the middle and vote, and that's the problem. They don't, and so please vote. Please register everybody that you know. Go through your phone list. Go through your social media. If everybody who feels this way, everybody's fired up about a woman not being able to choose, needs to register to vote and register everybody they can, and text Phil Taillon about how you want to get involved.
Yep, please do.
I kind of wanted to throw out a little thing in there, just from my perspective.
We're a woman in the room here.
Well, yeah, and I'm not even going to talk about Roe versus Wade, but just the Supreme Court in general. When I was in college, they approved the right for gay people to get married. And my roommate,
Obergefell, right?
Yeah, and my roommate at the time is a lesbian, and I'm an ally, so I get involved in those kinds of organizations and whatnot. And I asked her, like, you seem to be in a really good mood, so like, what does this mean to you? And she was like, because the Supreme Court decided it can't be overturned. It's not a thing that's going to happen, and I feel comfortable being myself, and I can go and get married. And she is married now,
right?
And I remember just being so hopeful that even when these things are happening, like, we're moving forward, we're advancing, and we were all so excited. We had we had celebrations and stuff like that. And I was very supportive of the Supreme Court because of that decision and that entire faith And trust in the Supreme Court is completely demolished
And
now.
it's very
completely demolished.
Lindsay, and it's very accurate what you're saying is the Obergefell decision and Roe versus Wade are based on the same premise.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been long-standing legal principle. We respect precedent, and this is a right that was given to women in 1973, the year Phil was born, right? And now all of a sudden they take that away.
Yeah.
And if they could take that right away and give it to the states, they could easily take away same-sex marriage.
I'm still very much involved in supporting gay rights, and I know a lot of people who are very nervous, who have been in marriages for years, who have children, and they are very nervous.
They should be, and they should vote against Todd Young, honestly. And I'm not saying that because I'm running against him.
Well, honestly, a lot of them don't live in Indiana anymore.
Well, then vote against whoever. Figure
Yeah.
out your senators. Like our senator, Todd Young, put 3 of the justices on the Supreme Court that are going to overturn Roe versus Wade. He deserves to be fired for that reason.
100%.
Yes.
Hashtag fire Todd Young.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is what we have to do is get it out there to people that are in same-sex marriages, people that are in interracial marriages, people that use contraceptives. All these people
use
you could lose these rights.
ectopic pregnancies. You're talking about like people who don't have the means or even want to have a child. You're going to raise a child now in neglected, unwanted. I mean,
Not only that, Linz. Can
but
you
also
imagine?
you're talking about Roe versus Wade. Like 20 years after Roe versus Wade was enacted, crime rates fell because what kids weren't being
Freakonomics.
born into.
Freakonomics.
Yeah, exactly. They were not
you
being
guys ever
born
read that?
into abusive homes or neglected
Lindsay's,
homes.
I read the book Freakonomics, and there was a whole chapter in Freakonomics about how abortion controlled the crime rate in America. That a lot of the kids that weren't being born were going to grow up in, and I'm not doing it justice. It was literally an entire chapter devoted to this. How a lot of these kids, a majority of them, would have obviously would have gone into a life of crime and become
or
a
gotten
problem.
involved in drugs because their parents were in drugs, or they grew up in an environment where they were neglected, abused. Or
Some of
just
whom
didn't
may have
the
gone to
finances
Cantrell and
to
Cantrell
succeed.
for attorney advice.
Hopefully.
They were never born because of this right that women had, and because of that, there were less people being raised in an environment that would cause them usually to turn to crime. Not always, but usually. And
Okay. We're going to turn the corner on Roe versus Wade, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more light about what's going on in America and the race in particular. But let's do some ads before we get to that. So, Phil?
Okay. The Ron J. Prestomer Insurance Agency has been located for decades right on Indianapolis Boulevard in Hammond, serving all of your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide variety of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Prestomer Agency serves over 1,000 people and businesses all around Chicagoland and the Midwest, including the region and not Chesterton. Call Ron, Ronnie, or Michael at 219-844-0103.
The Trojans are not going to like Mr. Taillon after today's
I'm in
show.
trouble. I'm in trouble.
Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and under budget. Misprint experience
so
and technology
sad.
allows
And
them to
that was-
offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions. Rick Boldensberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. Misprint has 2 convenient locations to serve you in Munster and Hammond. Rick is he's a really good printer. We use him all the time.
He just did the sign
Yeah.
at 7235 Indianapolis Boulevard. It's a brand new sign.
It's gorgeous.
LED, brand new panels, looking
Wow,
good. Yeah.
nice.
Rick, I didn't know that
Give
they
him
did
5
signs.
stars. I give him 5 stars.
I wonder if he did that sign on that boat at the Todd Young protest.
Yeah.
Might
And
be
by the
Rick.
way, John, when you do Rick's, you go, and including metal business cards, clink,
Well, I've heard you do it in the clink, but I didn't know
Right.
what the verbiage.
Yeah, John was
Yeah.
like, Miss Priss specializes in delivery in the high school.
I know the sound. I didn't know how to make it.
Are you injured out there? Are you in trouble with the law? If so, give us a call. Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law, located at 7235 Indianapolis Boulevard. Schedule your consultation today with somebody who is in court and at the jail every day by calling John Cantrell.
I don't think that's accurate.
He also has metal business cards. You call Johnny Law at 554-4LAW. That's 554-4529. Or visit our website at bettercallcantrell.com. You can call him Johnny Law. He knows who you're talking to. That was your nickname, like right off the bat, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't give it to myself, but yeah.
Did I? Who gave it to you?
What's that? Adam Tavitas and
Did he?
Sam Sheely.
It was a good
Judge Sheely.
It
yeah.
stuck, man.
Yeah.
It was one of those that does not go away.
Yeah, I came in, started punching people, and just duking it out in trial. So
when Johnny and I started our law practice, it was somewhat controversial.
Yeah, I'd say
We came flying in brand new lawyers, like literally, we just got our license, and we blasted the region with billboards for our law firm, right?
yeah, we borrowed money to get the billboards. Yeah,
and we look like
and it worked.
14-year-olds. We want to do your case.
But it worked.
Yeah,
Look
it
how
worked.
successful both of you are.
We can't mention his name. I just want to say, do you still remember our first client?
Yes,
I remember it was a $2,500 bond.
it felt like a lot of money.
It was a lot of money,
it
man.
felt like a lot of money.
We were like $2,500 bond. I remember this. He was a petty thief, basically. He was a nice guy, and he ended up coming back multiple times, he was a good client. But
Frequent flyer.
His wife became a longtime client, and we were with this family for a long time. They were our first clients. You don't ever tell anybody they're your first client, though.
Never,
No.
That's
never.
the key.
Right.
But clues that these lawyers don't know what's up, right? First off, Johnny and I are both in the initial consultation taking notes, right? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
If you have two lawyers taking notes, you're either really screwed, you have a super complicated case, or the lawyers don't know what the hell is going on.
Or you're really rich. You have two lawyers, not one. Yeah.
So Johnny and I are sitting there, and then the guy's like, yeah, I have a omnibus hearing coming up. And we're like, oh, yeah, the omnibus. And he's like, yeah, you guys know what the omnibus is. Like, oh, yeah, the omnibus. Of course we know what the omnibus hearing is. He's like, okay, I'll see you then. We're like, yeah. He leaves. Freaking Cantrell and I busted out the law books. What's an omnibus hearing?
It was like day 7, yeah.
What I want to know is where did you go to celebrate that night when you had your first client? Like you had to go get a drink somewhere and be like, we did it.
Probably El Taco Real.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
His name was Jimmy. I remember that.
Yeah.
You know why? Because
Jimmy
you're from
Donner.
the region. I'll bet you Chesterton lawyers didn't go to El Taco Real.
Man, Phil, you're doubling down, man.
Yeah, man.
Digging
dude.
in his
By the way,
heels.
Chesterton's got a really good Mexican restaurant. Oh, it's
Yes.
El Salto.
Oh.
Wait, is there another one I'm missing?
No, it's El Salto.
I
But
love El Salto in
I
Chesterton.
used to do theater out there, and their food there is great. They have a couple really nice breweries. Their houses are beautiful.
Well, what were the poll results, John? I know you have them.
I don't know. I've got a weird glitch
polls-
over here. I can't see. Like the poll's still up on my screen. I can't.
You know what? It showed up on mine.
Wait.
showed up on mine.
When you ask somebody about polls and then your guy tells you that he's having a glitch, that means they're bad.
No,
and
no,
he's not giving
honestly,
you results.
I
No,
cannot
seriously,
see the
I'm
results.
I'm verifying the
Yeah.
results.
No, the results are on mine. It says 93% say
Oh, shut the hell
Chesterton
up,
is not in the
Phil.
region.
I'm actually with Phil on this.
you,
Chesterton's
John.
not with the region. Valpo's not. They hate us. I mean,
We're losing.
whatever.
We're losing
Yep.
JRC. No, I'm not saying we have to kill it. We still have two ads, believe it or not. But
okay.
Johnny Locke, good to see you.
It is 10
He's
to
got
9.
It is. Is it really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we started like 15 minutes late.
That's true. Well, let's go ahead and
You know the
let's do
show's
the last two
bad
ads.
when one of the guest hosts
He
leaves
just leaves, ups and leaves in the middle.
mid-episode.
Register now to book your Challenger Learning Center field trip for the 2022-2023 school year. From simulated space missions to rocketry labs, planetary shows, and more. For program and pricing information, visit clcnwi.com or call 219-989-3250.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard of Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
This has been one of those shows today. We had glitches.
It's just
we had,
one of them days.
yeah. Hey, Linz, we haven't done our thing in a while
We're
to
going to
remind
do
people.
it at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
a
we're
great
switching
show.
it up.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead?
It's a great show.
All right, everybody. You have been listening to Left of Center podcast, and I switched it up, and my brain is like fried.
Uh-oh.
You're listening to Left of Center podcast, where we talk about everything from politics to important events of the day in the Midwest and the nation, all while having way too much fun while doing it. If you can't listen to us live, or if you want to listen to us live, we're available on Facebook. And if you cannot listen to us live, you can download our episodes on the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio apps. Just search Left of Center podcast and look for our red and blue logo. If you want to advertise on our show, you can send us an email at Steve, STEVE, at lockpod, LOCPOD.com. And we'll get you on there. Maybe we can make you a theme song.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so we got homework for Eli. He's got to work on the big bag bug guy.
Big bad bug guy.
We lost one of our guests today. JRC's out of the studio. I appreciate Phil for filling in for Kevin. I think it was a really good show. It was stressful, to say the least. Walk in and the studio's dead, and we rebooted everything.
Days.
But John Vesmar, I have to say you're sort of the hero of the show today, man.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank
MVP.
You. Thank you all.
Congrats.
Thank you.
It doesn't happen often, but I'm throwing kudos to John Vesmar.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. I'm kind of bummed we didn't get to a main part of our show.
Oh,
We're going to have to bring Phil and John back.
About the California police officer that pleasured himself inside of a family home during a...
whacking it.
And there was like 4 more weird stories, weird news stories.
We're going to have to get on that. We got bogged down on Roe versus Wade, and
That's an important.
Hey, but
Right.
it requires a lot of talk and discussion.
But I do see maybe a segment maybe each episode you could do a segment like a weird story from that week that might be
Yeah,
fun
I
to
love
talk
it.
about, man.
okay, I
Weird
like it.
news.
Because
Okay.
it would be funny. I know you guys would you'd make us laugh. if
We
you were
should.
talking about
Are
some
you
of
going to
these.
do that for us?
I'll be happy to.
Hey, save
yeah.
that one up for Tuesday, okay, John?
Will do.
And then, yeah, it's we got bogged down on ads too. We would do an ad and talk about it for 10 minutes.
Yep.
That's the problem with being sponsored and famous.
That's
you
right.
know?
Yeah.
We did the last ad at the end of the show. That's pretty. So anyway, it was that type of show. But Lindsay, great to see you. Notorious LMP.
Peace
great to
out.
see you in the studio. Jay Vez, thanks again for the technical assistance. Phil Taillon, awesome job filling in.
Thanks, Mayor.
I don't miss Kevin at all. I just have to say you filled
Oh,
in perfectly.
no,
Yeah,
Kevin.
you know.
I miss you, Kevin.
If Kevin wants to stay wherever he is for
He should just stay
a
there.
long time,
He should just stay there.
do it, Kevin.
Yeah.
You're
Wow,
fine. Yeah.
be nice.
And
you
then
guys are mean.
JRC is a great fill-in also. It was good to see him. I'm sure he'll hear this on the way out, but he had to run out. He has a court this morning. So, but anyway, thanks for listening to Lockpod, everybody. This is your Friday episode. We'll be back on air Tuesday at 7:30 as usual. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Lockpod is out. Thanks, everybody.